guys, Zen here, and today we're discussing the early preview of tomorrow's patch update, and my boy Sandman just got nerfed. Without further ado, let's get right into it. The intro to the patch update starts with this note from the developers. The metagame has largely been settling into a time of peace. Aeroshim's play rate has steadily trended downward, well, I guess if you're not playing Conquest, since our last change to Loki, and hasn't appeared to hit bottom yet as of these notes. Symbiote Spider-Man has shaken things up, but no decks new or old are presenting as outliers on win rate and cube rate at this time. As such, we're taking a light touch on the competitive changes and mostly pushing up a few older cards. Starting off with Sandman, who used to be a 5/6 on reveal where players can only play one card next turn, but now essentially, in my opinion, has been nerfed with their on reveal next turn cards costing one more, meaning a maximum of 6. Now this is a good counter to say something like Sarah. However, your opponent still being able to play multiple cards kinda defeats the purpose. It is important to note that it is a 5/7 now. The developers' reasonings are as follows. We've relied on Sandman to be a negative pressure against strong decks that can threaten several cards at the end of the game. However, we've seen over time that when the metagame provides Sandman with that kind of an opening, those decks tend to become a frustration unto themselves. Listen, I'm gonna call cap, no one is complaining about that. Anyway, in some ways, it's reminiscent of Leech, and we're pursuing a similar adjustment. Softening the penalty on Sandman will make it less effective at locking down the game, while still meaningfully impacting enemy plans to play tons of cards. I don't know. I'm definitely going to miss that control element of forcing my opponent to only play one card. Next up is Mockingbird, who was a 6/10 and costs one less for each of your cards in play that didn't start in your deck, and now has been changed to 6/9 with the following reasoning. Mockingbird has been one of the strongest cards in a couple dominant decks lately. So we're taking away a power here. It's not uncommon for some players to assume that a 6/9 may be stronger than a 6/10 due to the vulnerability to Shang-Chi, but this has never been the case in the past. If by some chance it proves true for Mockingbird, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Honestly, it does kind of sound like a buff when you think about it that way. Next up is Arrow, where the old card was a 5/9 that had the on reveal move the last enemy card played anywhere to this location, and is now being changed to a 5/10. I guess it's because of the Mockingbird change, and I guess Shang-Chi is going to be pursuing Arrow now. The reasoning is as follows. We're aware one of Mockingbird's roles of late game has been providing some amount of support for Scar. So we looked for a few candidates near 10 power that felt ripe to receive a buff. Arrow was just that card and an ideal candidate among 5 costs, given the ability isn't strictly beneficial. Honestly, I could get behind that. Seems like a pretty decent buff and directly helps Scar. Next up is Black Cat, which looks like it's going to be another card that helps Scar out. Used to be a 4/9, and if this card is in your hand after this turn you discard it, has now become a 4/10. Likewise, Black Cat's seen a big dip, the reasoning being because Black Cat has seen a huge dip following adjustments to Hela and Black Knight, so we're adding a power here as well to see how it impacts the play rate. Still got 4 more to go. Next up is Ghost Rider, another discard card, where the old card was a 4/3 and had the on reveal to bring back one of your discarded cards to this location. It is now being changed into a 4/4. Reasoning? Because Ghost Rider is a pretty exciting card, and they'd like to find the right spot for it to feel like a fun miniature combo for decks to play. Now, we all know the early days of the beta how strong 3-cost Ghost Rider was, so we decided not to risk such a drastic change. We'll see how some power goes and evaluate from there. Next up is Moon Girl, who used to be a 4/4 and duplicated your hand. It is now a 4/5. They're just adding powers everywhere, and the reasoning being another card capable of fueling some unique combos. Moon Girl's time in the sun faded pretty fast once Loki hit the timeline. We'd like to explore pushing this card back towards some of that former glory. Now, I remember when I started playing Marvel Snap, Moon Girl and Dino was my favorite, so I'm not too mad about this buff. Anyway, the fact that they started trying a 3-cost version internally, but it totally cracked, so they didn't expect to see any change anytime soon. Now, they said that they might have considered more power here, but given how strong decks with Mockingbird have been lately, they erred more cautiously. Next up, we have a complete change a war machine that honestly feels like a very strong buff. It's crazy how you could just change something from on reveal to ongoing, and it's just insane. Anyway, the old card was a 4/7 on reveal. Until the end of your next turn, nothing can stop you from playing cards anywhere, and is now an ongoing where nothing can stop you from playing cards anywhere. Yeah, Professor X, you don't exist anymore. The reasoning? Well, many players noted that the new activate keyword had the potential to benefit War Machine. They also thought that this might be true, but it turned out that even at a 3/5 War Machine wasn't quite as effective as one would hope. A card that packs most of its punch leading into turn 6 just isn't an ideal home for activate. So they were going to try a backup plan here, changing the on reveal to an ongoing. And honestly, I'm pretty excited. Now, what I'm really excited about is counterplay to this with rogues, with super skulls, and the like. And now finally, the final card is Agatha Harkness. Like, who plays this unless you're trolling? Anyway, the old card was a 6/14 and stated the following: Agatha starts in your hand and plays your cards for you. It is now still a 6/14. However, Agatha starts in your hand and she plays your cards for you only on even turns. Not gonna lie, that's pretty sick. And after I upload this video, I'm gonna build an Agatha Harkness deck. But yeah, the reasoning behind this one is the following. We're as excited as everyone else to see Catherine Hahn back for Agatha all along. So we decided to celebrate by letting our own Agatha out to play a little bit. You'll find Agatha more interested in an equal partnership these days, sharing turns with the player rather than keeping them all to herself. I wonder if they're hinting something at the, upcoming show movie. Anyway, we haven't adjusted any other functionality. You'll still see her showing up in your hands as a bonus card too. But yeah, that's the patch update, balance update that we should be expecting tomorrow. This is an early preview. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Which of these cards definitely got a huge buff, and which of these cards are going to change the meta in the upcoming weeks? I definitely love to hear from you guys. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.